So guys, let me just tell you a little bit more about that ball. I think that ball is actually 30 years old, or maybe even more. But yeah, I used to bowl a lot, and my first bowling ball that I bought and had drilled from my own hand was an AMF Exacta. I think it was Exacta either Pro Line or Pro Roll. Anyway, it was the ball that they were featuring just before they came out with their 3 white dot ball. Just before that ball, they had one with a big white dot. That was a 3, red, white, and blue AMF logo in the big 1-inch white circle on the ball. That's the one I had first. And it was just a little over 15 pounds. It was like 15 pounds, 4 ounces or something. And I was a strapping young dude, man. I was throwing that ball halfway down the alley in the air and blasting those pins. I mean, I just remember the first time I ever went bowling with my future wife when we were dating. It was important for me to make the best impression I could every time I was out with her. And so the first time we bowled, I broke 200. And I think it was the first time in my life I ever broke 200. But I wanted to impress her so much that I bowled my guts out. And I mean, the pins were blowing up with that old black AMF Exacta Pro Roll or whatever it was called, hard rubber, bowling ball that was standard drilled. And I mean, I was blowing those pins up. The whole alley was quiet. But when my ball hit the pins, it was blam, I mean, big noise. So I made a good impression there. But that ball didn't break much, So we got into bowling more and more. It was something we could do around here. And next thing you know, we were both looking for better balls. And they were coming up with newer technology. They were coming up with urethane balls that were very popular back then. And, they were more powerful and hooking more powerfully into the pocket and all that. So I ended up with the ball that you've seen in these videos, the AMF Bobcat urethane ball, 16 pounds exactly. It was a few ounces over, and that left room for the finger holes to be drilled out. And as I say, I was a little disappointed with that ball when I first had it drilled. I had it drilled standard first, and I said in the first video in this series that I had changed the fingertip in the process of having the first finger holes drilled. That's not really correct. I remember now, I did bowl with it standard drilled for a week or two, and I was very disappointed. I wasn't getting the big powerful hook I wanted or anything. I wasn't getting any reaction on the lane, and my hits were blah. I wasn't getting the big blowouts. Heck, I was hitting them better with my old ball. So that's when I took the Bobcat back to the Proshop and asked them to plug my finger holes and let's go fingertip for the first time. And guys, this is something that's important. Let me tell you about this, because you have the question in your mind, how important is it to get a good ball technician when you're setting up your ball? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's very important. I was very lucky. There was a senior ball technician in a nearby town who was very well known. The guy had bowled on the Pro Tour and everything, and he was managing this ball shop at a bowling alley. And that's where I took this ball to have it drilled. And let me give you an example of what the kind of treatment you should get from a good ball technician. First off, the man wanted to see me throw my ball as it was. He looked at my first ball, the black AMF, the Exacta with the 1-inch AMF red, white, and blue logo. He watched me throw that ball standard drilled, and he looked at the ball and he saw he looked at the scratch pattern on the ball, which is how it's going down the lane all the time. And he said that, I remember him saying that I had a quarter roll, is what he called it. That was my natural throw. Honest to God, I don't know what it means today. But that man was an expert, and he saw the scratches on that old ball, and he knew I had a quarter roll. That was my ball. And so he had me throw the Bobcat that was still standard drilled, and he watched me. And then we went into the Proshop. I'd say I bowled about 5 or 6 frames in front of him with both of my balls. Then we went into the pro shop, and he had one of those balls that had all the different finger hole arrangements, different thumb and finger holes that he could move and adjust, And he had me throw that to him in the air several times, and then he would keep tweaking the adjustment and tweaking the finger holes and the span and the size and the diameters. He had the whole ball was just a whole experimental ball that you could exactly pinpoint your correct span and the right way to drill for your fingers and your hand. And he had me throw that to him nice and light, nice and easy in the air, just standing a few feet away from me, and he would catch it every time and watch my hand and ask me how it felt and blah blah blah. And he spent several minutes with me doing that until he was sure that he knew the right span and angles of the drill holes and all that and the diameters for my fingers and my thumb. And he was very careful with his measurements. You should expect that from a good ball technician. And then that was it. He wrote down the numbers that he had come up with, and I was to come back a week later or whatever and pick up my ball, and I did. And when I picked up the ball, you can expect this also from a good ball technician. He wanted me to look at it and try it on. He showed me how to put my hand in the ball. He knew it was my first time with a fingertip ball. And he showed me to put my 2 fingers in first and get them situated right up to the first joint only, no more, no less. And then to get my thumb in and get it in good and snug. And he checked to see that the span was right. It was just enough gap, just right to be comfortable. And he told me how I should let go of that ball in the alley. And then he went out there with me, and we bowled like we had 2 free games that came with the ball drilling. That was part of the price. So he stood there and watched me throw the first couple games, the 2 whole games. And meanwhile, my wife at the time, she bowled right along with me. And my first couple throws with that fingertip ball were disastrous. I mean, I think I threw it right in the alley, right away. And the man would come up and help me adjust a little bit. He would see that I wasn't having the right posture or whatever, and he'd tweak my form a little bit. And then he told me how to let go of the ball and where my thumb position should be on the clock. And he told me 10 o'clock I should focus on having my thumb at 10 o'clock. This was for my natural throw, my natural roll from my old ball. So when I listened to him, I started to throw it, and it was heavy, and it was a finger tipper, and it kept falling off my hand right at my foot, right at the foul line. And it would roll down, like I said before, really slow. But if I had my thumb in that 10 o'clock position, it would get down there, and then like the last 10 feet or less, the ball would hook big time and blow into the pocket. It would take over, the skidding would stop, and the ball would start rolling and hook right into the pocket and blow the pins out with huge noise, no matter how slow I rolled it. Very interesting. And I bowled over 200 right away with that ball, not even being able to throw it, correctly. I was dropping it right at my ankle every time. But that's what you should expect from a good ball technician. They should watch you throw your ball, your original ball. They should look at your ball and look at the scratch pattern on it. They should identify right away the kind of roll your ball naturally has. And they should ask you what you want from your new ball. Do you want more of a hook than you had before? What are you looking for? And that's what you tell them. And he knew I wanted more of a hook. So when he drilled this ball, he set it up so that the weight block inside was positioned around my finger holes so that it would give me that hook. And that's it. So that's how I started using that ball. I bowled in leagues with it. We bowled quite a bit back then. But then over the last 20 or 30 years, I got out of bowling and hadn't bowled in all those years. So you can imagine when I got my old ball out off the porch and took it to the lanes, I couldn't hardly even hold on to it. It was dropping off my hand just like the first time I ever threw it. And this time it wasn't giving me any reaction on the lane. And it was also bumping over the finger plugs that were sticking out. That professional did not plug those finger holes. He had someone else do that, and they just didn't do a very good job. And plus the way I stored that ball in hot and cold outside on the porch all those years made those finger plugs pop out. So it's not the technician's fault, but I think the technician did a little bit of a sloppy job. No big deal. So you see where I'm at now. I'm at where the next time I bowl, I want to bowl better. You know, I'm a competitive type person. I'm not happy with my last outing, and next time around I want to have a little more control over the situation, and that's what this video series is all about. So I hope you enjoyed it so far. Like I said, a couple more I'll post to show some other tweaks I'm going to do on this ball, and then it'll be a matter of reporting the results to you. Okay? Thanks for watching, everyone. God bless, and best wishes.